Fifth Committee is the Administrative and Budgetary Committee of the General Assembly. It is fair to say that this is one of the most influential and systemic bodies at the United Nations, since it allocates every dollar the organization will spend.
But this Fifth Committee deals with all the administrative issues that you can dream within the United Nations. Basically, every issue that has a budgetary, financial implication or implication to personnel comes into the Fifth Committee at one stage.
In order to achieve this goal, this committee meets more often than other committees, and it can take a lot of time and effort for the member states to finally reach consensus.
When you talk about money, it goes without saying that the negotiations are usually tough. So they are long, they run long into the night. Sometimes the Fifth Committee wraps up even on Christmas Eve.
In the Fifth Committee, diplomats usually negotiate over roughly $10 billion, which is divided in two. The so-called regular budget amounts to $5.1 billion for 2 years and covers essential finances of the UN Secretariat. That includes the political work of the UN, covering special political missions such as UNAMA in Afghanistan. It is also used to fund the Secretariat's steering and coordination role in fields like human rights, humanitarian affairs, and development. And finally, the regular budget finances the UN's staff and facilities, like the renovation of the historic UN buildings in New York City. With $7.5 billion a year, the budget for peacekeeping is 3 times higher than the regular budget. It allows the UN to run 15 peacekeeping operations in the world, with 117,000 staff, including the famous Blue Helmets, police officers, military observers, and civilians. Missions greatly vary in size and complexity, and the biggest peacekeeping operations in Darfur and in the Democratic Republic of Congo alone account for 40% of the budget. And in the past years, the economic realities have backfired on the UN's budget negotiations.
The world financial situation is clearly felt. And when you have less plentiful and scarce resources at the capitals, you immediately see that in the discussion of the Fifth Committee. So clearly, what happens, the reality.
The Fifth Committee also decides member state dues, based on a scale of assessment, which factors numbers such as the economic wealth and the GDP per capita. In recent years, the share that Western countries, such as Germany, have shouldered has in fact lessened, while some emerging economies like China, Brazil, and Turkey have seen their contributions rise. As one of the biggest and richest economies in the world, Germany remains the third largest contributor, paying for slightly over 7% of the regular and the peacekeeping budgets. A large contribution that should nonetheless be put in perspective.
When you break down the $700 million that Germany pays to the UN and divide it by the 80 million Germans, you have roughly $9 per capita that every German spends. That's €7 per year for the United Nations. And I think when you look at what you get in return, that is a very good investment.